I could see I could actually see the clock. The tunnel stepped out. Okay, so if you left, what should I do?
It's coming back.
Oh, it's coming back. Okay.
Last time you did.
So let's just begin. So we're discussing Hilchos Muktzah. Hilchos Muktzah. We'll just begin before we say the halacha. I think I heard this quote of Yishem Bris Garav and Yishem Pincus, maybe one quote or the other, I don't know. That on Shabbos, one of the things that shows what Shabbos is the rules of Muktzah. What does that mean? On Chol, on the weekday, what do we do with our hands? I don't know, whatever you want to do with your hands. The Gemara says, your hands are everywhere. On Shabbos, your hands can't be everywhere. Because on Shabbos, anything that you're doing with your hands, you have to wait. Is that Muktzah? Am I allowed to pick this up? Am I allowed to touch this? Am I allowed to move this? Can I open this drawer? Everything is potentially Muktzah. So Muktzah shows us what Shabbos is. It's a beautiful Hagdara in the rules of Muktzah. So let's begin Muktzah. Muktzah has a few basic categories. Before we get into the categories, we have to focus on the headline of the rules of Muktzah. The headlines in Shulchan Aruch, not such a known fact, were written by the Machaber himself, Rabbi Yisrael. He wrote the headlines. So here in Siman Shin Ches, which is the first major topic of Muktzah, it says Dvarim Hamutarim Ve'asurim Litaltel B'Shabbos. Items that are permissible and forbidden to move on Shabbos. And that is rule number 1 of Muktzah, which is a bit of an unknown, misquoted rule. What is forbidden about Muktzah? Tiltul Muktzah. Negias Muktzah, touching Muktzah, is not forbidden. It's not forbidden. So that might be the reason why if you're ever standing and leaning on a car and someone came over to scream at you that, it's Muktzah, you can't lean on it. But I'm not moving it. I'm not moving it. So if it was an animal, if it was a tree, maybe there are different halachas, you're putting your whole weight on it and this and that. But Muktzah is tiltul Muktzah. If I'm sitting here in front of me, I have an iPad sitting on my table. So this would be a Friday night, and I'm sitting in my Suda, and I wanted to come here, and I don't know, put my plate on top of it, and I don't know, put my hand in it, and I don't know, move it. I didn't move it. If it doesn't move, it's not Muktzah. So from already seeing the headline, it's tiltul Muktzah is forbidden. Tiltul Muktzah. Number 1, what is tiltul Muktzah? Before we even get into the categories, what is tiltul Muktzah? Maybe we'll title today, what is not Muktzah? That's what we're learning here. What is tiltul Muktzah? So tiltul means moving, Muktzah means Muktzah. So moving Muktzah. No, that's not what tiltul Muktzah is. That's what the Chazon Ish maybe says tiltul Muktzah is. But we paskin generally like the Mishnah Berurah that tiltul Muktzah means the normal way, or I say it better, moving Muktzah with your hands. Moving Muktzah with your hands. That is moving Muktzah. If I go and I move Muktzah, I can't move Muktzah. This is Muktzah. So on Shabbos, I have this sitting in front of me. On Shabbos, if I have this sitting in front of me, and I'm like, wait, that's an Apple Pencil, so I don't know anything, but it's probably some level of Muktzah, and I need it's my Shabbos Suda, so how am I going to move the thing? So once maybe we'll learn that it's a Klishach Is, or you're allowed to move the Tzarech Mekaymoin, it's called its plate. You don't know anything. So you don't know anything, what do? Don't use your hands. Use yours, says the Mishnah Berurah, your mouth, and move it. Or blow something. Use your foot. Use your foot. Use your foot. So there's a reason why I gave foot, mouth, blow. Elbows. Atzila Yadim. Mishnah Berurah says something called Atzila Yadim is the back of your hands. The back of your hands. Now, the Mishnah Berurah calls back of your hands, he calls them tiltul min hatzad. That's not what I just said. What I just said is your mouth is not called tiltul. You're not moving it. So you ask you're not moving Muktzah. The only reason why I might not be lechatchila is because I gave the hakdama that the Chazon Ish disagrees on some of the things I'm talking about. So maybe that's the reason why it might not be lechatchila. Maybe you shouldn't come home on a Friday night and just start picking up things with your mouth to show that it's allowed. Although the Chazon Ish probably agrees to that also. We're not getting involved. The Chazon Ish only disagrees. I'll say very quickly, moving things with your feet, if it's the normal derech to move things with your feet. That's what the Chazon Ish basically talks about, and therefore certain things he's going to be upset when you move them with your feet. But let's just focus on the Mishnah Berurah so we understand what's going on. But the Mishnah Berurah says that the back of your arms is called a tiltul min hatzad. That means indirect movement. It doesn't mean it's not called movement. It means it's called movement indirectly. Is that allowed or not allowed? we're going to get to it. It's a separate topic. Next, that question, it's allowed. It's Tzarech Mekayimai for the place. It's Tzarech Gufay for the item. It's Tzarech Shabbos for the sake of Shabbos. But it's called a movement. So anytime you need to move something in Shabbos, it's a machlok is what I just said. It could be the Shulchan Aruch Harav, Balatanya. I think it's his birthday, perhaps today. Perhaps. Chayil, for all those who know. But we have Chassidim over here. They'll tell you a little about it later. So there could be. So it's something to keep in mind. So that's why if you move with the back of your hand, it's okay. But the best is mouth, head. Head is going also. You knock it off, or foot. You come home and on your table you just pick up your foot and you kick it off. Kick it off. You have to pick something up. You take your shoes, use your toes, and you pick it up and you move it. This is an eitzah to always move muktzah. Why? Because it's not called tilta muktzah. So number one, we learned that muktzah is only asur to move it. Number two is, even when you're moving muktzah, it's only forbidden if you're moving muktzah in a normal way with your hands. If you're moving muktzah with your head, you move muktzah with your foot. And this, by the way, if we ended the shira muktzah here, probably 99% of the time you won't be over. Because what's going to happen? You come home and you come to your bed, and she left my phone in my bed. And before, is it yes muktzah, not muktzah? Oh, okay, I could just use my foot and kick it off. Great, finished. I could just use my head and knock it off. Great. The back of the hand, the rabbi said, not the best, but he also said for some reason it's okay. Okay. And in many, if not most cases, you come to the table and something on the table. You don't know what to do with something, but I need to move it somewhere else. And this works. It's not called tiltal. I just want to show you how far this goes. You have an item outside. You have an item outside. An expensive item outside. You know something like even item, but if I move it with my foot, I'm not called moving it. So you gotta move it. You gained by the fact, who cares? You didn't move the item. That is rule number 2 of Muktzah.
What about like pulling a blanket?
That's something else. Did not give you that example because that's going to fall into the rules of tiltal min hatzad. You moved it indirectly. The chiddush here is something called guf, your body. Tiltal big guf is not called tiltal. That's the chiddush. Tiltal with hands is tiltal. Big guf is not called tiltal. So I told you a bit of machlokes about the back of your hands, and I said maybe yeah, maybe no. But if you want to just remember it as a simple rule, hands versus body. Move something with your body, it is mutter. Now you know a second reason perhaps why you're leaning on that car and the guy yelled at you, that it wasn't a problem. Because you're leaning on the car with your body. Tiltal big guf is not called tiltal. Tiltal big guf is not called tiltal. Maybe we'll get back to the car a different time, but again, that is the pashtus over here. That's rule number 1 and rule number 2. It's only movement, and it's only movement with your hands, not movement with your body. We really should stop here, and you should learn nothing else about Muktzah, and you'll probably be better off in life. Because as we're going to start learning the rules, you're going to start being smart, and then you'll probably start messing things up. But let's hope that we'll get there. Now, the most common, never want to say the most common because everyone has to then argue what is called the most common. But the most common type of Muktzah, we're going to give you the basic categories. We have 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. I'm going to give you the basic categories and their definitions, and then we will go through each category and its definition. Basic categories are as follows. We will start from most stringent to least stringent. Most chamer to least chamer. Most chamer is a rock. A rock from outside. And all the examples I'm going to choose hopefully will be very specific. That is called Muktzah Gomer. Muktzah Machmas Gufay. Muktzah Gomer, Muktzah Machmas Gufay. You're not allowed to move it for any reason in the world, for its place, for the item, for anything. You're not allowed to move the item. Can you move it with your foot?
Yes.
Yes. You're not allowed to move it. Great. Move with your foot. Can you lean up? Okay, I'm not going to do that every single time. Maybe I will. It's like Simon says, stand up. You're out. Okay, let's not do that. Fine, right there. That's level number 1. Muktzah, Machmas, Gufay, Muktzah, Gomer. Level number 2. Muktzah, Machmas, Chisaroin, Kiss. Something that is Muktzah, due not just to its value. It's an incorrect definition. Due to the way that you care about the item because of its value. That's the way I would like to define it. And that's why a Mila knife for all the Mailim amongst us, a Shechita knife for all the Sheikhtin amongst us, perhaps a very expensive digital camera, an item that you're very careful with, that you use and you put it back in its place, an item that you don't just leave around, is Muktzah, Machmas, Chesara, and Kiss, and that has the same levels and the same rules as the highest level of Muktzah. You cannot move it for any reason whatsoever. Level number 3, so really maybe that's one category, we can call it level 1. Level number 3, Muktzah, Kli Shemalachtai Le'isra. I'm going to go 1 minute over time, I apologize. Kli shemalach del iser, a utensil, very important word, that its primary function, very important word, is to do something usher on Shabbos. The quintessential example everyone gives is a pen. A pen is a utensil that its primary function is to write on Shabbos. That is a kli shemalach del iser. You're not allowed to move it unless you need the item, scratch your head, or the place. I need to learn in this place. An item that its primary function is to do forbidden, I'm only allowed to move for itself or its place, not to save the item from getting ruined. My pen is outside and it's going to rain, I cannot pick it up and move it inside to prevent it from getting ruined in the rain. And the final level is kli shemelach leheter, which is a utensil that its primary function is to do mutter, and whether you're allowed to move that for any reason in the world or not is a bit of a machlokes, which eventually we will get to, and that are your four. So you have Muktzah machmas gufa, your rack. You have Muktzah machmas and kiss, your fancy DSLR digital camera. You have Kli shemalach le'iser, your utensil of primary function is to do forbidden, your pen. And then you have Kli shemalach leheter, which maybe is everything else in life. And we'll slowly put more and more things in each category and explain their rules.
Kli shemalach le'iser